What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Hard Park 703 channel. So it's a gorgeous weekend. I was going to cruise around today, but I've had a part laying around for a while now, and so I really want to install that and then get the car washed and then garage it, because tomorrow morning there's a big car meet that I really want to go to, and I finally want to unveil the C8. So I want to install this before I do, because this is definitely going to make it pop. So yeah, let's not waste any time. Let me show you.
Here is, at first look, you would be like, oh, you've got like either a lip or you've got a spoiler, one or the other, right? Well, it's a spoiler add-on. So this is a gurney flap that I purchased. And so this will go on top of my existing Z51 spoiler that I have now. So let me unwrap this. By the way, the packaging was fantastic. So thank you, Paragon Performance, for just all the safety. But yeah, let me unwrap this and let me show you exactly what it looks like. Well, looks like I spoke too soon about the gorgeous weather, because it looks like storms are rolling through. But let's not let that take away from what I've got right here. And what I've got right here is, look at that thing. That is sexy. All right, so this is the gurney flap that's going to go on top of the Z51 spoiler from Paragon Performance. I was worried that, I was like, well, what if the fitment is off? Like, what if, how am I supposed to, like, you know, maneuver a carbon fiber piece? I mean, it's not that flexible. However, I am very happily surprised. This is extremely thin. This is really, really nice. This is, look at that carbon fiber pattern. That is epic. Already clear coated and everything. This is awesome. And look how thin it is. So this is definitely going to allow me to like maneuver into place a lot easier. And it already comes, all that double-sided tape comes pre-installed. So that is a wonderful little surprise. Thank you, Paragon Performance, for that, because I was going to do that myself. But yeah, so definitely it feels very, what would you say? I guess I would say the term, I'll use fragile instead of flimsy, because it doesn't feel cheap by any means. This is a 100% like amazing quality part, but I'm just saying, since it's so thin, it'll allow you to be able to bend it like slightly, right? So then that way you can definitely adhere it at each corner, basically, to the top of the spoiler and whatnot. So the fitment should be fantastic. All right. I'm going to go ahead.
Work my magic on it. I'm going to use the rubbing compound, polishing compound, and then wax it, so then that way I get a crazy shine on there, and then also all that protection. And then obviously, once the vehicle gets washed, I mean, it's going to, well, I say washing, and I don't even know if that's going to happen, if storms are going to roll through. But point being, I've got that ceramic coating that I can put all over, it built into that foamy soap. So that'll definitely help with all the protection and everything. So this thing is going to come out looking amazing. However, let me show you one last little surprise that I want to put on this, and I think it's really going to
check this out. So I've got another cyberpunk themed decal, and this one is actually almost spot on with the color of my vehicle. So since it's that kind of like shiny, flaky red, right? Almost like the red mist. I was thinking it'll look nicely right here, dead center. Since this is gonna go right on top, this just lays right on top of the Z51 spoiler, right? So like I said, it acts as a gurney flap. I was thinking, put it just like that. And so then that way it'll be in the center, right? Like obviously I'll play around with it and stuff, but it'll be just like that. So then that way when you're looking at the vehicle, it'll be red trunk right here, right? And then you'll see the red spoiler within the black accent, right? And then red right on top of it. So I think that'll look great, because it'll be red, black, red, and it'll flow with the rest of the vehicle. So I think that's gonna look awesome. I'm so excited. You see that shine? So shines up just like that, with the different angles of like when the sunlight hits the vehicle, right? Like the vehicle itself also looks like, it can look like a dull red, and then when the sunlight's hitting it just right, it starts getting that nice sparkle. So that's gonna be awesome. All right, so I'm gonna get this all waxed up and everything like that. Then I'm gonna put the decal right there, and then we'll throw it on the vehicle. And then after that, looks like it's clearing up. So I should be able to wash the car.
I'm thinking, before we get ahead of ourselves, let's see how this thing fits, because I'm going to need to see if the existing double-sided tape is good enough, or if I'm gonna have to add a little bit more, like maybe to the little edges right there, right? Like right where it you get what I'm saying, right there, right on the edge. So yeah, let's put it down. Let's see if what the fitment's like. I don't even know why I doubted Paragon Performance for a second, because that fitment is really, really solid. Like, it can't get any better. I thought these edges were gonna probably flare out just slightly, so then that way I was gonna have to put some double-sided tape in order to really adhere to the sides. No, it's perfect, because right now it's just resting on top of there, so it's slid a little forward. It actually sits a little bit higher up, being like this is gonna be a little bit further back, but gravity, obviously, it's sliding down. But so point being, like, this is going to be like this. So that's all adhered right under here, like right where my fingers are, all that right under there is going to be double-sided tape. And then you don't even need double-sided tape right here on the edge, because the edge isn't flexed out. It's actually hugging the body really well. I might just put a smidgen right along the edge, like a very thin layer, since I've got that other type of foam double-sided tape, just for, you know, like I always say, just for like not even for added security, just so then that way it adheres a little bit better. But this is how it's going to sit. So it's got a perfect little lip edge on this side, right? And it's symmetrical on the other side. And you guys know me, I'm super picky with symmetry. And so it's just perfect. That this right here is about like I don't know, you'd say like probably like half a centimeter of a little bit of an edge right here on the red, and it's the exact same on the other side. So that, I think that's great. So if I pull this back, right, like where this is going to actually sit, so it's the same thing. So that is great. And then, oh, there we go, easy. And then yeah, so it adheres right here in the center, and so it'll be kind of like a duck bill, right? So it goes straight up, which is awesome, because this is actually functional, and they've got the data and everything to show that. But honestly, I don't really care about that. I just care about what it's going to look like. So I think this is going to look great, because it's going to be red, black, and then with the red decal right there in the center. I think that's going to look fantastic. And then from the back, it's going to look fantastic too. So yeah, let me just clean this up or whatever, and then let's get to adhering it. Check out the shine job I did on this thing. All right, this thing is fully waxed now on the top, and then I gotta be careful because I don't want to hit that, and then along the back. So that is perfect. All right, so now time to add the decal, and then we'll go ahead and throw it on. I guess I'm gonna have to take some measurements from one side to the other, so then that way the decal is perfectly centered. This is where my anxiety goes up, but let's do it. Not gonna lie, that sucked. Definitely can't do the dry method. You're just gonna have to, I just had to spray it down just completely. So I just put a towel under here, and then I try to position it as best as possible. Because since it slightly curves, you can't ever lay down a decal perfectly, right? Especially if there's just a slight curve, because you're going to be off on one side, you're going to be tilted. And so I didn't want to be tilted. So I made an incision on the back of the wrapper paper or whatever. And so I started with the A, since that was pretty much centered. And so then I started peeling away one side and then peeling away the other side. And so I try to get even gap along the top. And so then that way these letters like wouldn't come down onto this part of the body, or like they wouldn't, you know, skew. So that was something. That was something, but there we go. I mean, it's on there. So that looks pretty sweet. That's awesome. All right. Next part. All right, let's go put it on the car. That sucked. All right, I'm gonna put some tape right there, and I'm gonna put some double-sided tape right there, and then I guess I'm gonna start trying to peel slightly the edges back, so then that way when I lay it down, I'll just pull it out, and then that way press firmly. At least that's the plan so far. So we'll see how it goes, but yeah, that sucked. All right, she's getting there. So I've got the center part all adhered. I heated it up
as much as possible with the blow dryer. And so I've got the tape on there. It's not precise because it wants to flex more in the center. But if I move this thing further forward, then this edge right here on both sides, the tape wasn't gonna even touch the paint. So I had to shift this a little bit further back, like tuck it in further, so then that way these corners would adhere. But that's at the expense of, this thing curves right here. It has a more significant curve in the center, like right here in the, the middle part. And the tape is further down. I guess, what would I say? Not further down, but point being, the tape's not sticking too well because of the fact that there's it curves. It curves significantly here in the center of the Corvette. So it's not sticking too well, but I put a lot of pressure on there and I heated it up, so it should hold. So now I'm gonna get onto the side. So I'm gonna start peeling away. I'm gonna start peeling away right here and then start pushing this down. And then I peeled some right there, so then that way I've got the corner, so then that way I can push it down on both sides. So just in time to wash the car. Perfect.
Right, well, she's on there. And when I mean she's on there, like, that is never, ever, ever coming off. That adhesive, that double-sided tape is the strongest thing I've ever experienced in my entire life. This little tool right here just saved my life. That was a major pain. Let me show you.
All right, so everything is on. It is symmetrical on both sides. That's the part that took me forever because I wanted it to be perfect on both sides. All right, I started with the center, right? So I started taping down the center, adhering the center. And so I heated it up and I got it, blah, blah, blah. It's a little raised in the right there. Like you can see the tape. It's a little raised right dead center. But then the tape adheres very nicely as you start moving towards the edges. So the tape is adhered here in the center. It's just there's a little bit of a gap up top, but that's okay. I had to do it that way. There was no choice in moving this down. I started then with the driver's side. And so I started, you know what? I don't want to scratch my paint, so I'm going to put this to a side. Okay. So then I started laying this down, right? Well, I started pulling the plastic strip out and then it started sticking, right? And so I was like, all right, sweet. I was paying attention to this body line right here. So I was like, all right, nice. Symmetry. And then I noticed this piece right here was flared out. Like, I mean, flared out, like probably, I don't know, probably a centimeter off the body. And so no matter what I try to do, I try to bend it. I mean, the carbon fiber just wasn't bending that way. It's like I was terrified I was going to crack it. So it was so far off the body that I'm telling you, this edge was like a centimeter off, and you could just see right through it that there's no way the adhesive, the double-sided tape that I put there was going to stick to the body. So I was like, crap. I was like, all right, I focused too much over there. So I was like, all right, I got to lift this and then shift all this, like this edge further forward. Well, easier said than done. I mean, once that adhesive sticks, I mean, it's not going anywhere. So I had to heat it up significantly. I mean, I had to heat it up for like a good minute on high. And then on the high setting of my blow dryer. And then this little edge right here, I just had to start jabbing all the way in there, like as hard as possible, and starting to try to like pry it. And luckily, I mean, this thing didn't snap. And I didn't break the wing or anything like that, and I didn't break the carbon fiber, but it finally popped off. But I'm telling you, it was on there. I was going to cry because I was like, I screwed it up, but it's going to look horrible. And so anyways, I got that up, shifted all this forward, so then that way I could get this to line up with this edge of the spoiler. And so I got that adhered. I put a lot of pressure on there, and then so I held this down. And then from there, with the other hand, I started pushing down on here. So that's how I had to do it on both sides. Obviously, you learn on the first side, and then you'll be able to replicate it on the second side. But that right there just, I thought it was ruined. I totally thought it was ruined. I was like, this is going to look horrible. I was like, there's no way I'm going somewhere and you're just going to see a massive, massive gap right here. But now it adhered nicely. So I did the same thing over here on this side, on the passenger side. And yeah, so it's on there. It's on there nicely. It's on. I heated it up. I heated this whole thing up on high, on the highest setting. And that it was hot. It was hot. And so then I just started keeping pressure on the sides, and then just started pushing down, just making sure everything's down. So, I mean, it's on there. So, all right, let's get it out in the sun because I'm about to wash the car. But, all right, this is as amazing as the gurney flap is. The mold is fantastic. The mold is absolutely fantastic. But no matter what, you're going to have to play with it. You're going to have to play with it. And so you got to be careful because the tape is super sticky. And at the same time that the tape is super sticky, you got to start peeling a little bit of the tape, right? So then that way it stays in place while you're trying to like maneuver certain parts. But it starts getting stuck so easily that then it's difficult to maneuver all the other parts. So, I mean, good luck. But all right, let's get it out in the sun. Let's clean it up and everything. And yeah. All right, so let's take a better shot from the rear. Yep, that's on there. That's not ever going anywhere. Never in a million years. That is awesome. That looks so good. Wow, that looks really good. I'm in love. Haha, that decal looks so good in the sun. It's so reflective. That looks so awesome. That's exactly what I was hoping for. Look at that. Matches perfectly. Oh, I love it. Love it. Let's take a look. Obviously, I'm gonna have to move the car tomorrow so then that way it faces the sun and that way it'll be even more reflective, but that is so dope. Look at that. Oh, I love it. I love it. Hey, so check this angle out. You can actually see the decal from the front. That's so dope. That is so dope. That's awesome. Oh, I can't stop looking at that decal. Looks so good. Oh, that gurney flap looks so good. Oh man, look at that. That looks so dope. Oh man, I love this thing. Wow. Oh, that gurney flap looks so good. That looks awesome. I love it. Oh, it looks so good on the car. That's awesome. And now it's such a gloomy and dark day. What? All right. Let's finish filming the gurney flap because I love this thing. This looked amazing all day today. And so, sucks that not too much sunshine's hitting it right now, but you get the point. Looks amazing. Fitment is fantastic. You just gotta manipulate a little bit. But this thing looks awesome. Look at that thing. All right, so one last pass. Man, I love it. It's like such a sharp blade. That looks awesome. That came out perfect. It matches the diffuser so well because it's just such sharp lines, right? So, that is sexy. Man, that looks so cool. So yeah, one last look before I tuck her in. Do a 360. And then come right back. Told you I was filming 3 videos back to back, so I'm gonna put the same ending in 2 of them because I'm gonna finish up the wheel one and the gurney flap one. So yeah, so if you like that video, go and click that like button and subscribe. And I have 3 more parts going on this week. I gotta divide up the video into 3. This is gonna be awesome. Just stay tuned. This is gonna be awesome. Finally, we're gonna get some sound out of this thing. So yeah, I'll see you guys soon. Bye.